I have done a couple of interviews in this channel already, you know, if you have been following. But mostly we have focused on STEM cases, science, technology, engineering, math. Today we're going to get outside of this area and we're going to meet Cristina. Cristina works on mental health counseling and she's going to tell us all about her case and how she overcame a request for evidence, or RFE. Hi, my name is Oscar, and as you know, I'm a scientist, not a lawyer, and in this channel we talk about green cards like EB2 NIW or EB1A in which you can self-petition, and that means that you don't need to have a job offer, a company sponsoring you, and you can even do it without a lawyer, saving a lot of money. Today we're going to meet one person that did that, saved a lot of money, and got her I-140 approved in EB2 NIW. Let's meet Cristina. So, hi Cristina, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, Oscar.
Yeah, thank you for being here with us, telling your success story.
No, thank you for your wonderful program. You were a lifesaver.
Thank you. So you just been approved for an I-140, right?
Yes, correct.
EB2 NIW. So tell us, I always like to start with, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you as a professional? What are you doing? I think you are already in the US. So what have you been doing in the US?
Okay, so I am originally from Venezuela, but we have dual citizenship. I'm also European. I came here 14 years ago with my husband. He was with a non-immigration visa. Mm-hmm. And we are legally here. We've been legally here for the past 14 years, but that visa never granted us access for a green card. Mm-hmm. And something that started like an adventure, well, years passed by, and then we already have 3 children. So I thought it was a good idea to start looking for options to try to get another type of visa that would grant us a green card to become residents, legal residents. So this quest started a few years ago, and I had meetings with numerous lawyers that continuously told me that the easiest route was always try to do it through my husband and his business, right? Yeah. But they were never taking into account my profession, right?
Yeah. Which is?
I'm a mental health counselor. Mm-hmm. I'm a psychologist in Venezuela, and when I arrived here, I did a master's in mental health counseling. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but once you finish your master's, you still have to do 2 more years of supervised work, take a test, all that, until you become fully licensed.
Okay, so it's like very regulated.
Very regulated, and also it was the right timing to apply for this type of visa once I am a fully licensed clinician with all that track record in the States, right?
Yeah. So you were saying that they wanted you to go through your husband's profession, but what happened there to change your mind?
Because for the immigration's lawyers that I talked to, it was like a more natural path to try to make my husband, who already has a business here and a career here, change his status to an immigration visa. Most of them said that the EB2 was a difficult route. Mm-hmm. And well, it could have been that maybe I was not fully licensed yet, or even when I was fully licensed yet, at least 2 told me that it was difficult.
Okay.
No. So, but because I am complex, I started doing my research, and I'm like, how difficult can this be if you need just an advanced degree, right?
Yeah.
And I started doing my research in a very obsessive way. I'm a mental health counselor. I have my traits under control. Don't worry, but I do have those.
Yeah.
And I ran into your website. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it was so easy and articulated. Mm-hmm. And I would use your videos when I was commuting to work. And they're short, precise. And I started gathering a lot of information. Mira, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of information out there in YouTube, but yours, for me, I don't know, it was like, it's like, this is the one, this is the guy that you need, right?
Thank you.
And it was during those long commuting hours that I clearly remember. It was a Saturday morning. I was in my office and I went outside. My husband was outside in the terrace, and I'm like, I have a new project. And he's like, yes. He's scared. Every time I talk about a new
He is used to your project, right?
yes. And I'm like, I'm going to do a self petition to USCIS for an EB2 with a national interest waiver. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, it's not going to cost me anything. I don't have anything to lose. I have this genius called Oscar Pardo. I don't know him personally. He's a scientist. He's not an immigration lawyer, but he has something amazing going on. And I choose to trust him, right?
Nice. I'm flattered.
Yes, no, true. And then that's how I got into your website. I checked out everything you had. The PDF offer was very attractive. I was a little hesitant, right? Because it's like YouTube online and
there's a lot of scams and
But at the same time, I'm like, well, the lawyers are asking for at least 22K, and I have this scientist, potential scammer, that's charging me $60 for the PDF, right? And it's giving me all these guidelines. So I'm like, I'm gonna take the risk for $60.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to jump in, and say, let's try. I mean, the question you ask is the question I ask for a lot of things, like, what is the worst that can happen here? And then you evaluate. It's like, okay, well, in this case, it's $60. Like, I can deal with that, right?
Correct. And then the operation is super secure. Like, you can tell that it's a legit source. Like, so I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good that that I overcame that scammer image. Good. No, but you're saying that, but in this space particularly, there's a lot recently in the last year, a lot of new consultants and a lot of scams I can see on Facebook and WhatsApp and whatnot. So it is good to be a little bit protective of your privacy, your money, and all that.
So this whole ordeal started in June 2023. That's when I bought your package.
So almost a year ago.
Almost a year ago. Like, with my best OCD traits, I would wake up like at 4:15 every morning before the family woke up, and I would start like grinding. Like, your PDF worked like wonders to use it as a template. Actually, I bought the PDF with the Word, and
so you can edit.
I could edit. I could use the similar wording. I mean, I don't even understand what your endeavor was about, because it's such an elevated language that is like, this guy cannot worry about plagiarism because there's none.
Well, I will probably not understand yours, right? Because that's what it is. We're in different fields, and that's one thing that people should understand, that when you buy a petition like this, is for you to understand what kind of arguments you make, the structure, how to write. But you can never copy paste, even if you find someone in your field, because the endeavor is going to be your endeavor.
But it was really good, like the way, for example, how you organize the cover letter, how you organize like the index and the structure, and then all the addendums. It's like, if I show you my package, the first one was like this.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to cover the timeline a little bit later, because I know if we get into the timeline, we're going to get into something that I want to talk in detail, and I don't want to do a spoiler here. So let's start by going through your original petition a little bit. Like, tell us, what is your endeavor? Let's start with prong number 1. What was your endeavor that you proposed to USCIS at that time?
So that's the thing. My first endeavor, and that's something that you repeat many times, but it's not until you make the mistake that you understand what they really are asking for, right? So at the beginning, what I did, I showcased myself, right? I talked about my career. I talked about my recognitions, my award, my relevance in the field, right?
Yeah.
But I did not necessarily propose my next project that was gonna help the
Right.
United States,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
me being a mental health counselor is the same thing as you say with like me being a teacher, right? Like, of course,
Yeah.
teachers are fantastic. Without teachers, no
Mhm.
parents would have kids because none of us would like to teach our children,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but it's not because I'm a mental health counselor and I already have the medal to
Mhm.
become a US resident, right?
Yeah. So you focus a lot on talking about you, but not about what you will do.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was talking about me, about what I was doing,
Yeah.
about my track record in the
Yeah.
field, but
Past,
not
past,
how
past.
this
Yeah.
was gonna affect or positively impact
Mhm.
the United States.
Yeah, and that's number one mistake. I said it
Yeah.
in one video in the channel. Number one cause for RFE.
Because it's a fine line. Obviously, in what I'm saying, that is kind of implicit,
Mhm.
but I understand it. It was not like
Yeah.
a direct line. You had
Yeah.
to use your imagination, like
Yeah,
fill in the
and the
blanks.
officer will see the opportunity to say, "Ha, I got you."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I got a request for evidence in November.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's go to that. And that was the spoiler I didn't want to make earlier. So no, but now it's good. Because in the first attempt or the original petition, you didn't articulate that proposed endeavor correctly. So what did you do in the RFE response to correct that?
Okay. I opened it in November.
Uh-huh.
I got very anxious.
Uh-huh.
I secretly cried inside.
Mhm.
And then that was November. So I was like, they gave me 90 days, which is the maximum they can
Yeah.
give you. So I was like, I'm going to go holidays, enjoy vacations, reconnect. In the meantime, I was trying to look for more information, see where I had failed. I
Mhm.
actually contacted you. I don't know if you remember, to see if we could get together, but you were full. And then
Yeah.
when you open up a slot, I had already
Yeah.
I'm like, forget it. I've got this, you know. I see I save more money.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to help everyone because I'm just one person. So
Yeah, no, you're a genius. Like you literally, I would build you like a little statue. So after a lot of research, and once again, they wanted to hear me say what exactly was I gonna do with my profession that was gonna positively impact the population. And throughout my career, I've worked with the militaries, right? And I'm always in conversation with them, like with people that take care of charities and that provide support, right? I came up with this program that it's been around with, like, I think Harvard and Stanford are collaborating in one of those programs, but basically it's to provide social emotional support to the caregivers of those children that whose parents have been deployed.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when our military they go and fight for us, right? Their families, they stay sometimes with a partner, but sometimes with grandparents or neighbors or family members, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ignorance around how to talk about the absent parents or parents, you know, and how to be able to have open communication and the support system, like how to guide those caregivers to look for help and the kids to be able to express themselves. I'm super fascinated about that field because what these guys do, these people, these military do, is like heroes. And if it wasn't for them, imagine now, sadly, this period of life where there's so many wars. And I love working with children. I love working with families.
Yeah, and you said that you had some experience in that specific subfield. Yeah.
Yes, because I worked with a group of them. Every once in a while. At some point, I was working very regularly, and then whenever they have like a special program, I go and I talk to them and I support them. And through them, I got funding to apply this program because now it's in a very small scale. But ideally, we would like to expand to other parts of Florida and even in other states.
Yeah. So basically, there you found, okay, this is my, what I call my professional mission. From now on, this is what I'm going to tell USCIS, and that's what you described in your RFE response.
Correct.
And I like it because you were exactly right about what you said earlier. They want to see something that is specific and that has impact. So both things are very, very important with your proposed endeavor. And so, did you propose that you would work, as a professional, like as an individual? Did you propose to start your own company, a foundation? Did you mention any of that at all, or you just talked about the mission itself?
I am a licensed mental health counselor. I have my own company. I mean, I am the sole proprietor. So through me, I'm actually, I already started putting together this program that has to do with like overall wellness of the family and.
And was it easy to find supporting evidence from, let's say, the government or other institutions to argue that this is important? I mean, I know this is important, but you always have to show it, right?
Yeah, no, it was super easy. Like if you go to whitehouse.org or if you go to the statistics, like the census, they tell you like the amount of children whose parents are deployed. They tell you about the family struggles, like it's all in statistics. So there's a need. And I would say the most challenging part would have been to find the economic means to develop the program. But I told you that I've been working with this group for a long time, and I'm in contact with charities that support them, right? And it's a social emotional program. It's not like I'm not asking for millions of dollars. It's like just a little bit to attract people,
No, but that's good, because whenever you can show, look, this is my endeavor, and I was able to attract funding. Funding is, I mean, in the eyes of USCIS, it's something powerful, because it's not just a support from letters that I'm sure you also got. It's like, I'm getting money, it's like, this is not a signature, I'm going to receive dollars. And that's really effective to convince USCIS.
Yeah. So that, for me, that I think like because I've been talking about this with other people that are interested, and I understand the fear when they say like, where is that? No, but it depends, because if you have something solid, like there's a lot of like charity work that are willing to help you.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Do you want to take the future into your own hands like Cristina did and pursue this EB2 NIW path? Then check out my website, eb2niw.info, or eb1greencard.info if you are looking into that category, EB1A. In those websites, I have a lot of resources for do-it-yourself petitioners like you. You have blog posts, you have sample petitions, and above all, what I recommend is to focus on the online course. For EB2 NIW, this is the course curriculum. You have it on the screen. You have 10 modules full of video lectures, more than 8 hours of video content, both in English and in Spanish, where you can learn how to fulfill the requirements of this category, how to craft each of the documents, petition cover letter, recommendation letters, professional plans, and once a month we meet in a live session where you can ask your questions and get my answers. Also, you don't have to wait until that day. You can submit every day in a written form your questions in each of the lectures, so I will take a look and give you the best answer I have for you. Let's go back to the interview. So you got prong number 1. Did they challenge prong number 2 in the RFE, or were they good with that in the first pass?
They only challenge prong number 1 and 3. Of course, because the one didn't apply. Then the third one was like, and when by the way, that RFE letter, dear God, is
long.
So long and comprehensive, and they take pieces of your documents and they explain why yes, why not. It was very overwhelming. I promise you, when I was secretly crying, I promise you, I read each page, and it was like 13 pages, no less than 8 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, do they like this or they don't like this? Like, wait, did I do this right or did I do this wrong? So once the anxiety dissipated, I was able to understand that the problem was in prong number 1. And precisely there, they wanted me to say, what are you going to do? That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. And you know, these RFEs, most of it is just copy paste, but you're right that they are supposed to, they not always do it, but they are supposed to give specific information about your case. So you know, okay, they are talking about this, they have a problem with this. So otherwise, imagine like you get a lot of legal language and you would be even more lost. So I'm glad they provided that, because in certain cases they don't, and it's horrible because you don't know what to do, you know, about it.
Yeah.
So,
I called you.
so even though they didn't challenge prong number 2, your qualifications, your experience, I know we already have an Instagram story with you that is already published, but for those that are not familiar with your profile, can you tell us the main things that your main strengths that you use in that prong number 2, I am well positioned to do this?
A little bit of my story. I'm a licensed psychologist in Venezuela. I moved here. I have a legal status here. I'm fluent in English and Spanish. I have very high level in French and basic level in German.
Wow.
Yes, I've been in the field for over 22 years. I have a lot of psychodynamic training because I also study a lot of psychoanalysis in Argentina. And here, since I arrived, I did my master's in mental health counselor. I was the valedictorian in my class. I got the award of leadership and good academic performance. I was invited to like this groups like Gamma, Kappa Pi, to one of those to join the community as an example for a community and give back and all that. Also in my field here, I've gotten recognitions from my clinical supervisors and my professors too. When I've always been very involved with the community and things that they're doing. So
I think that the genius here is you, not me.
No, I just love studying and learning. That's why now I'm an unofficial immigration lawyer. Thanks to my professor.
Yeah, and so you got letters of recommendation from these experts as well to support your petition, right?
From my experts, from the important people in the military that have worked hand by hand by me and have seen the results, from professors in the university, places that I've worked in.
Yeah.
And some publications, but in journals, like in casual, informal journals, like in the university. I'm not peer review. I have not published like you.
Well, but you could show that, you know, I have been involved with my field, with my community, and I have influence, because if you are publishing, even if it's not peer reviewed, people are listening to you and maybe they're using your work too.
Yeah, no, we went to a conference in New Orleans, you know, like all of that has been, thankfully nowadays, you call those places and they have all your records. They can show you what you talked about. So it took time. I'm telling you, I was waking up for a month at 4:15 to kind of send emails, gather all the information, you know.
Yeah. So it's good that you convince them about that part, at least from the very beginning. I'm not surprised. I mean, you have enough material to do that. In the RFE, other than explaining better, you know, this is what I'm going to do specifically, this is going to be the impact, did you add any other documentation other than your narrative, your explanation, or you didn't add anything else?
No, and for the RFE, it was very simple. I started with a cover letter, kind of like answering to their cover letter, right? Justifying, acknowledging that they said that I did something right, but what my mistake was this. And then I put like a little summary about how now I have corrected that mistake. And I just proposed a new program. It's called Sealed with Love. And I had attached the endorsement of the charity house that's supporting my proposal. And I think that's it.
Okay. So this was it was June when you started this adventure. So when did you send the original petition? I know the RFE came in November, if I'm correct.
Yes, I sent the original petition in July. So, and funny enough, like USCIS got it the day of my dad's birthday, who passed away 10 years ago. So it was like, oh, this might be a good sign. Who knows, right?
Well, eventually it was.
Yes, eventually it was. I'm like,
Yeah, but then in November the RFE came, and when did you submit your response?
So the response, I submitted it, I had until February 26, I think, to submit it. And I told you, it was like end of November. It was like Thanksgiving. And you know what happens in Thanksgiving? Like you forget about everything, right?
Yeah.
And so I took the whole holidays without doing anything, just a little research here and there, trying to understand. But it was not truly until the second week of January that I started working on it. I think it took me maybe 10 days to get the same rhythm, waking up at 4:15 in the morning, you know, and I, with my OCD traits again, obviously I didn't want to wait until February 20 to send it.
No, please, no.
No. So I always give myself like the deadline. If the deadline was like February 27th, I think it was, I was like, I'm going to send it by the first week of February. And that's it, you know, because then you finish it and you commit to it, right?
Yeah, and you don't know what's going to happen with mailing and all that stuff, you know. Maybe your package get lost or...
Exactly. And then you also don't have to do expedite shipping, expedite processing, nada. So I just sent it like USPS, ground, you know. Oh, a good tip. I love this tip. It's like they have a form that you might know the name, I don't. It's very easy. You just put your name and your email and your phone number, and they just reach out to you when they get your package.
Yeah, G1145. Unfortunately, it doesn't work well always. Sometimes it does. It should, but it's free, so everyone should do it. You know, no matter what's the outcome, you should do it because, you know, it doesn't cost a penny. It's like 1 minute to fill out, right?
Yes, and that is in the instructions when you're filling out the forms. And by the way, your PDF was really good for also filling out the forms. So when you're filling that out, if you read the instructions specify that, right? And also, and another time when I tried to process my employment authorization document by myself, the first time I got it rejected because I did not include all the pages that had to do with translators and that.
I see. Because you thought, well, I don't have to fill this out. I can just skip them.
Exactly. So that's another important tip. You have to turn everything in, like you N/A, not apply, but all the pages have to be there. Yeah.
In the past, they were a little bit less strict with leaving certain parts blank and stuff like that, but they're getting more and more strict about these things. Okay, so then you sent it in January, and February you got the approval?
No, I sent it like, I think they received my RFE on February 6th, something like that.
Yeah.
And I got my approval May 6th.
Amazing. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I knew that because you emailed me.
Yeah, I did.
Sure. Yeah. So how did you feel when that final notification came in?
I started to cry. My daughter was walking into the kitchen to tell me something, and I had an envelope, and I was looking, and I'm like, but it's not easy to read. But maybe it's because I'm not familiar with anything that has to do with anything. But they don't tell you like in very specific words, or your application has been approved. They just give you a notice, a 797 notice, says status approved, something like case.
It sounds NVC. really bad when you explain it like that. Yeah.
But that's coming from a mental health counselor. It took me a while. Like NVC, which is National Visa Center, reading the back. I read in the back, hoping that I had more information. Nothing clarify anything. I'm like, I don't know. I even had to go. I'm like, what does this mean? So it means
Yeah.
that your immigration case has been approved. And I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah. They should be very clear. And I mean, they don't have to tell you congratulations. They could, but at least, you're approved.
Yeah, or make, I don't know, say something about your form or
Yeah.
EB2. They just send you a letter of approval. I don't know.
Mhm.
I have it here. I have to. Maybe it's anxiety could be doing all this,
Mhm. Yeah.
when you don't understand, like everything sounds confusing.
Yeah.
I hope I'm approved. Imagine like now I'm doing all this and I never get no, Cristina.
I'm sure
No,
you are. I mean,
no, I have. I checked online.
I was going to say that. That's the best way to go online, put your receipt notice and check it. Now, what is your plan? You are not current, of course, based on
Yeah.
the visa bulletin. So are you going to adjust status? Are you going to do consular processing? Do you want to share that next step?
Yes. So that's the thing, Oscar. Life, it's like I feel like my resilience is being tested since I was born.
Mhm.
So when I first applied in June, I was going to do adjustment of status, right?
Mhm.
And that was all the intention. But things have changed in our lives. And apparently we have to go to Spain
Mhm.
for maybe a year or two.
Okay.
I'm not sure the timing. Obviously, now that we have this invitation, I have to respect that timeline. So that's something that I will address with the consulate eventually.
Mhm.
But since I got approved in May 6th, now my case is being transferred to the National Visa Center.
Mhm.
So I think National Visa Center takes about a month, according to what I've read online,
So yeah, theoretically, yes.
to accept the case from USCIS, right?
Mhm.
Once
Yeah.
they do that, apparently they're going to send me a welcome letter,
Yep.
right? With a case number. I will be doing a consular processing from the consulate in Madrid.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, hopefully, I don't know this, but hopefully Madrid doesn't have a huge backlog, because that's the problem with consular processing, that they are not transparent about what centers, what embassies have longer or shorter times. We just don't have information unless you know someone that just did it. So I hope that Madrid is one of the fast ones. So when the time comes, which is going to take a while, you can get the interview soon.
Yeah, exactly. So, but now it's like I'm
Yeah,
waiting.
it's out of your hands.
Out of my hands.
Yeah, that's good. Good. So, any other tip? You gave a couple of tips. Do you have anything that was in your mind about, okay, this is something I want to tell in the interview to others, or do you think we cover pretty much everything?
I know I've said this a lot, and I promise you that Oscar is not paying anything, and I have nothing to do with Oscar. I really think like this tool is priceless. Like I've been telling everybody, raging about it, because it's fantastic. And every time I spoke to an immigration lawyer about this possibility, they would offer you the typical EB2 route of being sponsored by a company. But then that comes like you need a contract, it's expensive. They want to, I mean, in my case, they wanted to, for me to sign a contract for 3 years, right?
Yeah,
So,
and the process is longer also. It has one additional step before the I-140.
So, mira, I would give it a shot. That's what I did. For $60, it's not a scam. I haven't. For $60, and why not?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, I think people should give it a try. And of course, what can I say? But if people think that they need more than that petition that you purchase, we also offer a course now. So they can upgrade. I mean, we discount what they already paid. So you can always play it safe, go for that $60 product, and then you can upgrade if you need to. But no obligation. I just have it there for people that want to use it. That's it.
Fantastic. And the other thing that I've learned throughout the process, I didn't know this, is that doing consular processing is way cheaper than adjustment of status.
Yes, it is. It is. Why? Because it's hard to understand that it's governed by two different agencies. So each agency has different fees, and consular is way cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, they're way
Especially now,
cheaper.
especially now that that USCIS increased fees and the State Department hasn't yet. So now the difference is even bigger.
Yeah, no, very nice. And then the reason why I was able to do this in parallel is because my status here is legal through a non-immigration visa that
Yeah.
allows me to stay like for extended time, right?
Yeah.
And this is a process for an immigration visa.
Exactly. Yeah. You always have to maintain legal status with whatever visas. You cannot let any time pass without that visa.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
that's an important tip. Very important. Yeah, you have been already very helpful. But if someone wants to drop a comment in the comment section and you want to answer, there's no obligation. But that comment section is there for people to interact if they want.
where is that?
Well, once this is uploaded, it's going to be under us.
Okay, that's how techie I am. But I can become really good. I just need a course.
Okay. Maybe we can work on that too.
Perfect. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cristina, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. This is going to be great for many. So thank you for your motivation and for your story. And good luck in Spain and good luck with the rest of the process.
Thank you, Oscar, and you too. And well, until next time.
Yeah.